sons and daughters.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Aurora Smedley podcast, where I speak with you about what the world needs to hear. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing how to take action while staying in the flow. And this is in response to a question by AMVYV. Thank you for your question. I actually love this question because this is something that I have asked myself so often, and this is something that I have struggled with and continue to grapple with to this day. So I am excited to share my thoughts on this one with you. And I just wanted to thank you all for your wonderful comments on my last video. I'm very glad that the concept of Wu Wei has been supportive for you all. I really appreciate your comments and feedback because this is a new podcast, and so everything that you share with me is going to help me moving forward, being able to provide better quality work for you all to enjoy. So that said, let me hop into the topic for this week. So the question from AMVYV was, if we stay in the flow, how do we know when it calls for action? For example, when to ask for a raise or something of this nature, basically taking a tangible step forward. So this is great. I'm so excited to talk about this with you. So the first thing that I'm going to bring up is that taking action is in the flow. And the reason for this is that the universe is constantly moving. The universe is constantly expanding, right? And so basically, if you are not taking action, you are actually not in the flow. Movement and change is a critical aspect of the universe itself. And so by changing, by taking action, by moving forward, you are actually in alignment with the Tao. The issue is that many of the actions that we take are actually colored by our own sense of fear, of insufficiency, of lack, of restriction, and of limitation. And so when you are taking actions from this place of fear, lack, limitation, inhibition, etc., you are actually creating distortions in the flow of the universe, in the flow of the Tao. And we can think of the Tao as being like the multidimensional nature of reality. Because if we look at this physical world, it's like, where's the flow? I don't see any flow. I don't see any Tao. I don't see any of that. So this idea of the flow and being in the flow can seem kind of abstract sometimes, because this idea of the flow is existing in the energetic nature of reality rather than in the necessarily physical nature of reality. So I think the key in when you are taking action, such as asking for a raise, deciding to move, deciding to do anything, or moving forward with any specific action, is actually clearing oneself of these negative impulses, clearing oneself of the need to be validated, of the need to get something from the situation, of the need to have, of being needy. All of these are coming from a misalignment with the universe. And the reason why this is in misalignment with the universe is because it's actually coming from a place of distortion. And this place of distortion is thinking that you are not already abundant, that you do not already have, that you are not already promoted, that you've not already gotten a raise, that you have not already made it. That by asking for a raise, you're coming from a sense of lack. If you are coming from a sense of lack, this is actually misaligned with the universe, because the universe has no lack. The universe only has flow and abundance and expansion. So basically, when we have these internal feelings of lack, when we have these internal feelings of neediness, we are misaligned with the universe. So the universe will validate that perception. If you are needy, the universe will give you more reasons to be needy. If you feel that you are unworthy, the universe will give you more reasons to feel unworthy until you become more in alignment with the universe itself. When you have affinity of form with all of creation. So how do we take action while being in the flow? And I think a critical aspect of this is to be coming at things from a place of clarity, from a place of expansion, from a place of alignment, from a place of fullness. And whatever actions that you're taking from this place will necessarily create the best possible outcome. And this may not be the outcome that you want. However, this will be the best possible outcome. One aspect of this is to detach from a specific outcome, to release control of the outcome, to release expectations of a particular outcome. Because the truth is that when we are demanding something of the universe, when we are demanding or expecting a certain result from the universe, this is actually creating a limitation on reality. What it shows is that you don't trust the universe, that you don't trust the Tao, that you do not trust the flow, that you do not trust the process of life. And instead, you are trying to control the situation and trying to control the outcome. And this means that you are actually trying to do the universe's job, because you only have control over your inputs into the situation. There's no control that you have over the outcome of the situation. Whether you get a raise, whether you don't get a raise, whether you are offered a position that is 10 times what you are currently making, whether you get a financial opportunity that is 10, 20 times what you are currently making. One aspect of this whole thing about having an expectation is that when we have expectations, we are actually limiting the possibilities of what the universe can actually present to us. What if the universe wants to give you something that's 10 times what you had in mind? But by putting so much pressure on the universe, by having such a hard set of expectations, you are actually limiting the universe from giving you something way bigger. And that by being so attached to a certain outcome, you might be limiting yourself from something that is way beyond what you could have possibly imagined. So this is why having non-expectation towards an outcome is kind of critical in taking these actions. When we become obsessed with an outcome, we are limiting what the universe can give to us. And by being obsessed with that outcome, we are actually saying that we need it, that we are not coming from a place of wholeness, that we're not coming from a place of completeness, that we're not coming from a place of expandedness, that we're not coming from a place of trust. And when we are doing that, we place distortions in the flow. We create distortions in reality. We create ripples in reality that are misaligned with what we truly want. And this can damage the long-term outcome for us. Sometimes when we try to force an outcome, we also may get the thing in the short term, but lose it in the long term, or not receive the joy and gratitude from that thing that we are actually desiring. When we are acting from a place of fullness, this is going to give us the best possible outcome in the situation. And I will also point out that sometimes this outcome does not happen right away. The best possible outcome sometimes sucks in the short term. Like perhaps by asking for a raise, and by asking for a raise from a complete set of alignment, from a complete set of non-expectation, from a complete set of givingness, even though you are coming from this place of fullness, you could get a no. You could get a no. Right? You could get a no. You could have somebody react poorly to you. It is quite possible that this will be the outcome. However, we need to trust that even in a negative outcome, that the quote unquote negative outcome is actually helping us become in greater alignment with ourselves, that it is helping us grow in our trust, in our sense of worthiness, and in our sense of wholeness. The opportunity for growth is in creating a greater sense of wholeness, trust, and safety within yourself in any action that you take. And sometimes this can also be non-action. Sometimes when you are coming from a place of alignment, the right action is to wait. Sometimes the right action is to have patience. Sometimes the right action is to let go. So only you can tell what is in alignment for you, what is in flow for you, what is coming from a place of wholeness for you, right? But it is the inner work that we do towards creating this internal alignment, this inner work that we do towards creating this sense of I'm already whole, I'm already able to create all that I desire, that the universe is already providing this for me as I collaborate with it, that when we are coming from this place is when we are quote unquote in the flow with the Tao. And I'm going to add that something that is also very common in Western society is trying to force an outcome, trying to force a result, trying to get something to happen as quickly as possible, to use hacks. And then we brag about, I was able to scale my business to 8 billion in 2 months. And this is often coming from a place of trying to prove things, of trying to be something, of trying to be worthy, of trying to be whatever. So the question is not whether to take action. The question is not what actions to take, but the question is, how do I take action from a place of alignment and wholeness? And when you take action from a place of alignment and wholeness, this is when you are in quote unquote flow with the Tao. One other thing that I'm going to add is that many times we do not take action out of fear. Perhaps from perfectionism, perhaps from whatever. But when you are not taking action out of fear, what you are demonstrating to the universe is that fear has control over you, that fear is part of your life, that fear commands you. And this makes it so that fear has more space in your life. So taking action in alignment with the Tao, another critical aspect of this is to not bypass taking action by coming from a place of fear, not bypass taking action because you are too afraid to move forward. Conversely, we also do not want to take action because we are afraid. So as you can see, the theme here is to move from a place of wholeness, to move from a place of alignment, to move from a place of non-fear, not fearlessness, non-fear, and so that we can move in greater alignment with ourselves and with all that is. One other thing that I'm going to add to this concept is that we can think of Taoism, we can think of the Tao as being the multidimensional nature of reality, right? So if we look around, we don't see the Tao everywhere. I don't look around and see this big sign that says the Tao on it. I don't look around and there's like a big sign in front of me that says, this is in the flow, this is in alignment, right? It is through our internal introspection that you can know what is true to you, what is actually in alignment for you versus coming from a place of lack, fear, and scarcity. And what that is going to be different for each person. What is the right action for you could be the wrong action for somebody else. And it is only through your own internal reflection that you're going to know what is true for you. The Tao is a concept that encompasses the energetic flow of the universe, which is beyond the physical, which is beyond the rational, And so aligning ourselves with this is something that requires the connection with our intuition. As we become more deeply connected with our intuition, our own inner truth, our own internal alignment, and moving from a place of non-reactivity, this is how we become progressively more and more aligned with the universal flow. Universal flow also takes into consideration the fact that the universe has intentions for itself, which it is living through you. So the universe wants to be abundant. The universe wants to have all the riches. The universe is all the riches. The universe wants to expand and grow and play and enjoy and have fun and be. And this is why we also have these same tendencies. So another point here is that sometimes we have these guilt responses to wanting to be more and have more. And we want to restrict ourselves from doing that. But by doing so, you're actually telling the universe that the universe does not deserve to grow and expand, that the universe does not deserve to grow and expand through you. But you are the universe. The universe wants to grow and expand. Therefore, you want to grow and expand. And so your actions that you take to develop yourself, to create, to give more, all of this is helping the universe do the same. So we're acting in alignment with the universe's intention for itself. This is when you are going to see a greater sense of flow and of certainty in your life. So I hope that this has been a supportive episode for you insofar as knowing how to take actions while being in the flow, being in alignment with the universe. So I look forward to your thoughts on this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast.